the movie hasn't come out yet, so they don't know if they're a big deal and should be treated with respect or not yet.
And if they should get their own plot.
Well, also, wouldn't it be great if the Guardians met the X-Men, because only the X-Men people could read the Guardians of the Galaxy and find how great it was.
Right.
So, you know.
Well, I mean, Iron Man readers are clearly reading Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where does Iron Man... Does he stay with them, or does he go home?
He pieces out when, like, Thanos and the Builders attack Earth, and so he's like, I gotta go, I got shit to do, but I want to thank you for having me.
Yeah.
He also
you can't come help save Earth.
No, well, he's like, you got shit to do out there. Like, you provide a really important service, but like, I have a million Avengers.
So, well, what is their? What is their?
What is the Guardian?
Obviously,
the Guardians of the Galaxy in their name, like they guard the galaxy, but like really, it's just a holdover from this title, from when they were whatever the Guardians of the Galaxy did back then.
It's just a cool name.
It's just a cool name, and in fact, when the Guardians of the Galaxy were reestablished as this team under Dan Abnett, the story was that the galaxy was actually under threat a lot of the time, much like the Earth is under threat a lot of the time. So there needs to be a team to protect it.
Right.
So they could have been like Guardians of Freedom, or like Space Police.
Or Avengers of the Galaxy.
Right. Which is what it seems to be.
Yes.
Space Avengers.
Space Avengers. Or, according to
Avengers in
Space.
Yep. So that's really the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they help the defenseless, and like they find out that like I'm not going to get into it. I was going to talk about like how the X-Men brought the young X-Men from the past into the present, and that screwed up time. But the Shi'ar Empire, who were half destroyed by the Phoenix Force, which was inhabited, which was using Jean Grey back in the 70s as a vessel, had wrought. The Shi'ar Empire had put Jean Grey on trial for the crimes of destroying part of their empire. So they went to destroy her, and then there was a clone involved, and Jean Grey came back to life, and the Phoenix Force was dissipated. And then sometime in like the late 90s, early 2000s, Jean Grey died again for like the fourth time, but they kept her dead because she's more interesting dead. But now that she's back...
It's true.
Yeah, she is, sorry. But now that she's back as a young version of herself, who's displaced from time because the young X-Men can't go back to the past.
Plus a younger, hotter version of
Indeed. The Shi'ar Empire catch wind of this, so they come and they capture Jean Grey and hold her on trial for what she will do in the future. Because they never really got justice. Because Jean Grey's still here.
Right.
Oh, they also went through the multiverse?
She's genetically the same as the one who destroyed her.
It's what she'll do in the future, but now that she's been brought into the present, she
totally
can't go into the past to actually do that.
But
but it's not her. It's not like the future that they're living in. It's the future that she would have been in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's already their past.
Well, except that they know that because they exist in this present where that happened, she has to go back eventually
and still do it.
And
it's impossible.
And they know that. Well, the idea is that like Professor X is trying to help like protect people from themselves and the world from being destroyed. When the young X-Men eventually come back to the past to go on the adventures of the X-Men, Professor X is going to run into them, because he lives with them as their, mentor and shit. He's going to read their minds, know they went into the future and did all these crazy things, and wipe their minds of that experience, so they will preserve the timeline.
Provided Professor X is someone who is going to just read people's minds.
Oh, he does that all the time. He is that kind of person.
Yeah.
He is not...
He has to set the timeline right.
Right.
He has to make sure that nothing changes. That's more important than ethics.
Well, and also, like...
That is ethics.
Yeah. That's actually
ethics.
more important than your personal mind privacy.
So, basically, the assumption is, well, she will get sent back in time, her mind will be wiped, and everything will happen the exact same way it did.
Yes.
So, therefore, we can try her for a pre-crime.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's still a crime that has already happened.
Yes. And they already killed Jean Grey, but they're like, but she's back now.
Right. It's an interesting...
Yeah, it's a neat idea. The Guardians get involved, because they find out that, like, how did the Shi'ar find out about her? Maybe Jason of Spartax told them.
Oh.
So the Guardians get involved, and...
so they just pretty much try to stop his dad from being a dick.
Yep. That's basically the plot of the story, is that, like, Peter Quill just razzles his dad.
I see.
Yep.
And so do they save her, I guess?
Yeah. Yeah, well, actually, like, the X-Men team up with the Guardians, and Jean Grey discovers she has, like, new powers that she's never been able to use before that make her even more powerful than before.
Thank God.
Which is actually, like, a real concern for everybody.
Yeah, like, oh, it's kind of like that Phoenix Force thing.
Except they actually destroyed the Phoenix.
No, it's kind of like X-Men 3.
Yeah.
Which is just like, I'm
was the Phoenix.
super powerful.
Right, but the Phoenix
was like an idea.
like
in
a
her
manifestation
mind.
of her powers.
Because she was so powerful.
in the comics, the Phoenix Force is an entity, a
Yeah.
cosmic force. In the stupid movie,
I didn't realize that.
No, there's no cosmic entity. It's just a manifestation of her bad personality.
Yeah,
Oh,
she was stupid.
she just sucks.
Yeah, she's like an incredibly powerful mutant.
That's why that movie
Professor
sucks
X had
even
to, like,
more.
Make her forget about
Yeah,
that.
it sucks so bad.
Alright.
Yeah, that's why it does suck. But you're saying that... What were you saying exactly?
I was saying that, like, the Guardians of the Galaxy don't get their own story because X-Men.
She gets super powerful.
She winds up
different
running into like other
things.
telepaths that are galactic, and they help her because like some people feel bad for Jean Grey because it's like you didn't do anything, like you don't deserve to be here. But it was a show trial, it was a sham, it was a drumhead, if you will. So they
It was
like
a sham trial.
yeah. So they try to rush it through, and so she gets protected, and then they like free her, and they fight the Shi'ar Empire and the.
Can't they just be like Professor X and freeze time?
No, they don't do that. In the comics, they don't do that shit.
He doesn't do that in the comics.
No, it's made up. That's just. Why would having mind powers freeze time?
It doesn't, but it's
freeze
really
time.
funny.
It freezes
makes
them.
you stop. What
Yeah.
you do.
No, they don't do that shit in the comic. It's just a
I
convenience.
always like that
factor.
power, though. That's kind of cool.
It was neat, but it was just a convenience thing.
Well,
So they
it's
can-
like, I'm never going to do this again. You never see him freeze time again.
No, he
No, he does it
Yeah, he
twice.
does.
He does it in
twice.
X-Men 2, and then he does it again in X-Men
What did he do
2.
in X-Men 2?
In X-Men 2, he
twice.
does it at the museum in the beginning, and then he does it again at the White House.
Yeah. And then he does it in the
Right.
the teaser.
In the Days of Future Past teaser in the end of the Wolverine.
Yeah.